Welcome to Getting a Pulse on Channel Data, how a channel data strategy can drive better results. I'm Julie Gilbert with Zift. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speakers. From SiriusDecisions, we have Maria Chin, Service Director of Channel Marketing Strategies. Also presenting is Laz Gonzalez, Chief Strategy Officer at Zift Solutions. Welcome, Maria and Laz.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Julie.
My pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Great. Well, I'd love to dive right into today's conversation. So kind of kick things off, for those of you who may not be as familiar with SiriusDecisions, we're a research and advisory firm that delivers the actionable intelligence, transformative frameworks, and the expert guidance that can equip executives to both modernize and elevate sales, marketing, and product performance. Here at SiriusDecisions, we really believe that the alignment of sales, marketing, and product is a delicate balance of art and science, and it's really the hallmark of high-performing organizations. Fast-growing companies rely on SiriusDecisions research and insights to improve their decision-making ability and help them implement and change processes faster to really drive growth. And in a recent study, we found that SiriusDecisions clients are proven to grow 12 to 15 times faster than their peers and have a 34% higher profitability rate. And that's important as we're going to be talking about data and the use of data in today's presentation. But really, at SiriusDecisions, our mission is really to help our clients achieve cross-functional alignment and improve performance through access to cutting-edge research and collaborative step-by-step counsel. So having said that, let's jump into today's conversation. Really, it's surrounding getting a pulse on channel data and how a strong channel data strategy can really drive better results. The key to building and executing and managing an effective channel marketing strategy is to analyze and report actionable information. The key word is actionable, that drives decisions for channel marketers and their key stakeholders. In addition to our own reporting needs, channel marketing must communicate with a variety of stakeholders, including the executive team and sales leaders. And from a reporting perspective, each stakeholder group is a distinct audience, and they have their own concerns about the channel business, from partner recruiting to engagement, and really to driving growth through the channel. So for today's discussion, we're going to talk about various aspects of channel marketing measurement and data, and give insight into developing a comprehensive set of metrics and data requirements to measure the multiple dimensions of channel marketing performance. So from our marketing automation, channel marketing platforms, partner relationship management, channel data management, channel incentive management, web and portal platforms, we get a lot of numbers. But what do all these numbers mean? For those of us who are pulling data to report on marketing performance, we know knowing what counts is really a major challenge. So what really counts in channel data is reporting on data that addresses the business questions that the organization requires. For instance, 7 is the average number of suppliers a partner works with, which can really speak to engagement hurdles and driving adoption. And it also happens to be my shoe size, but many might not find that relevant except me. A recent study from SiriusDecisions, a survey, asked many B2B channel marketing and channel sales professionals about how they use their channel partner incentives. And only 14% of the respondents stated that channel incentives met their goals. So thinking about this, suppliers must periodically reassess the incentives that they're offering and whether or not they're having those intended effects on partner behavior and results. I also found that the average elevator can hold about 2,500 pounds. And in researching and looking at data, I also found that about 2,500 calories per day, the average man can really maintain his weight. And at 2,000 calories, they can actually lose a pound a week. So this is where we can fit more people into an elevator. But really, that's not relevant to our channel stakeholders. So just because we can measure things doesn't mean we should. And then here's another one. I found on SiriusDecisions Command Center that 27.6% of channel deals are registered on a partner portal. What does that mean to us? Do we need to drive engagement with our portal? Do we need to insert better processes into our requirements for our platform? So what we want to underscore here is that you have to make the numbers you report relevant to the people who get those reports and relevant to your business. You've got lots of different stakeholders. You've got the executive team, sales leaders, your fellow channel marketers, and different aspects of the partner business are important to those stakeholders. Recruiting, engagement in your programs, driving leads, opportunity to pipeline ratios. But that's often difficult to navigate. So what we found is that reporting is most successful when the team reaches out to stakeholders and asks them the business questions about what do you need to have answered about how your channel and channel marketing are performing. So guys, no surprise, we've got a lot of data, but it's really not relevant if it doesn't turn into actions. So most channel leaders are going to agree that data is a strategic lever for their business, yet many struggle to use this resource to make better decisions. Channel leaders face increasing pressure from management to demonstrate measurable results, right, from investments in channel resources and programs. They have little to no performance data to understand how campaigns are performing, so they may have a lot of data, but not the right data. Partner adoption is also a challenge, as we're tracking only about 20% on average are participating in your program. Are you tracking this? How do you measure up? We have insufficient return on investment from a results perspective, and that tends to be due from lack of visibility and measurement into the data. And we have a lack of enablement and insights into partner marketing, sales, and capabilities into both the target buyers and to what our partners' sales and marketing staff can do. So what channel leaders need is an understanding of the role of successful data-informed channel management. They need clear definitions of metrics that demonstrate measurable results and provide insights into the audience for channel marketing measurement. And what are those insights that are required? So let's take a look at some of the data that's out there. In the B2B world, leads are the fuel that powers the demand creation engine. This is also incredibly important in the channel. And according to SiriusDecisions data, the current state of supplier channel demand creation programs looks like this. 61% of suppliers report that they offer supplier-generated lead programs. 61% also report that they offer partner-generated lead programs. And 41% indicate that they're offering lead referral programs, a scenario that we're seeing both through benchmark data and through inquiry, which is really on the rise. And so these are global numbers. And since we're talking about numbers, I have to state the obvious. I know that these do not add up to 100. You could actually select all that apply when providing this information. And so what we're seeing here is not that we lack lead generating programs, and that's going to be the answer. What we lack is the impact, the strategy and the impact and the insight into what these programs and how are they performing. So for those of us who do business through channel partners, finding out exactly what happened to leads that are sent to the channel is always a challenge. How many of those leads did your partner follow up on? How many turned into sales? What's the ROI for each program that generated those leads? So we're lacking the insight. Another issue that we're seeing, backed by data, is the top challenges. So we can create lead generating programs, but then what about those sales reps and those partner sales individuals? How are they looking at those leads and how are they following up on them? Well, when we asked our sales individuals, both direct and indirect, 72% of them said they had an inability to connect offerings to buyer needs and challenges. Wow. So if we're creating programs and they're not performing, we need to look at why they're not performing. And it might be that we cannot, and we're not arming our partner reps with the ability to articulate a clear vision that maps to this audience-centric world and getting those offering differentiation and those offerings connected to buyer needs. Well, 69% of them also said they couldn't differentiate the offerings from the competition of the status quo. Wow, in channel, we know that this is critically important because that 7 number that I showed you in the beginning represents the average number of suppliers that partners represent. We need our partner and partner sellers to be able to not only get people moving and buyers and customers off status quo to convert them into pipeline opportunities, but we want them selling our stuff. We want to be able to have them be able to really differentiate our offerings from the competition. And then lastly, and this is critically important in the channel, 65% of them talked about poor content quality and inaccessibility. I often say this is almost like a content graveyard that we put on our portals, right? All the systems that we make available to our partners. We put anything we've ever created with on the portal. They have to navigate through it. There's no rhyme or reason. And honestly, that's not created in a storytelling fashion that would really help them be able to articulate the offering, how it's meeting buyer needs, and be able to then very quickly move from status quo and differentiate our offering in the eyes of the buyer. So again, what are these numbers telling us? Well, the data is showing us that there's a tremendous need to enable partner sellers better to support our product and offerings. So our programs and initiatives may not be performing, but it's not because they're not relevant. We may have missed a critical partner marketing or marketing to your partner step and enabling them to have those conversations. So let's go back to the supplier side and say, well, what are some of the key channel marketing data challenges? The first step in reporting and data process, strong data process, is to identify the best possible criteria to effectively measure program and partner performance. So while specific metrics vary by company, vary by historical channel partner performance data from a variety of industries, suppliers should include 3 categories that address some of the major challenges that we see going on with them. We see challenges in performance related to the strategic growth goals of the organization. We see challenges and partner demands are growing and resourcing them, and how do we work with different types of partners and different engagement and coverage models. And then how do we effectively enable them and engage them? We see that adoption is down. We see that enabling is critically important, as we just showed you those red boxes on the previous slide. So really, when we look at it, we see 3 distinct categories of metrics in every partner and every program assessment. Revenue, pipeline, ROI speaks to performance. So while total revenue contribution to pipeline always should be included, it's not the only factor. So we got to gain a complete picture. We need to look at things like additional metrics like partner adoption. What's our growth rate? What's the revenue by supplier offering? And what's our overall partner experience, which could be a key differentiator in our businesses. We need to look at effectiveness and efficiencies. These types of metrics provide insight into the strengths and the weaknesses of a partner and into our programs, and they'll also be used to identify investments needed to improve performance. So think about qualified leads generated, close rates, qualified pipeline to revenue targets, and deal frequency. And then lastly and critically in the channel are engagement numbers and ROI. Assessing partners against indicators of a strong or a weak engagement is going to be critical means for gauging the health of each partner relationship. And examples of these engagement metrics include the percentage of sales reps trained and active and certified, the number of deals registered, and you saw those registered opportunities on that number slide, and the number of launch marketing campaign and their results. The most important metric to assess the health of a partnership is going to truly be the return on investment. Strangely enough, many suppliers and channel sales leaders find that their top revenue producers are also their most expensive and least profitable. Again, let's leverage insights and look at the right data to then get the benefits of that analysis and that study. So what we're looking at doing, and I apologize, having a little issue advancing my slides. What we're looking at is, what does that look like? What are some of the increases or the benefits of that strong data strategy? Well, you're going to increase your program success, right? That's going to map to those growth goals and that strategy. You can optimize your channel investments. We should never fund what we can't measure, and we need to make sure that we're getting impact of our funds, and we can drive partner effectiveness. If we can do that by properly engaging partners, we're going to succeed and not only succeed, but achieve and exceed our goals. So the importance of being data-driven is frequently talked about, but few organizations have a clear understanding of what the concept really means. A data-driven organization is going to identify those insights that it needs data to inform, effectively manage against, and empower the team to put that data to use. And so a strong example of measurement best practices is, I'm going to tie examples of metrics to channel marketing ROI. If we truly define what the measurements are and think beyond just performance, but look at closed loop reporting, look at engagement, leading indicators, we can start to identify some areas where we're succeeding. It will give us insight into how our programs, predictably are going to perform. So look at establishing those key performance indicators, both leading and lagging. Set a minimum requirement for ROI. I said we shouldn't fund what we couldn't measure. Well, let's set, something in stone. Tie results to reimbursement. So this is also where you start to drive that partner behavior. And then link your results to deal registration. Not only does this drive desired partner behavior, but it also gives us visibility into the activities and also gives us the opportunity to improve upon those if we're seeing opportunities get stuck at a certain stage of pipeline. So here we've given examples of activity, minimum ROI metrics, and additional metrics that could be very valuable to really collect and report against to have a healthy channel marketing ROI. So we're here to talk about a channel data strategy. And one of the critical areas that organizations and individuals need to understand is it's not just a one-time data strategy. It's actually an ongoing process. It's not a once and done. And what has to really start to think about what data is critical to delivering on channel goals and objectives. So we're going to look at what feeds into a data strategy, how you can start to inform a data strategy, and really the critical roles of individuals within that data strategy. So what does it mean to be data informed? Well, you can see that there's a whole host of definitions across the data that we're going to collect. Most organizations start here and look at data and information. But data is really a collection of facts and collected observations without any further analysis. Information is reporting on what happened and maybe monitoring data on what's currently happened. But it's historical. We start to really drive value when we start to look at the knowledge piece of analyzing and interpreting the information. Okay, why did it happen? And some of those data examples I gave you, why some of our programs might not be performing is because sellers are having an inability to connect the offering to buyer needs. That's why we're having issues. Or on the flip side, why are we performing so well? What's the secrets to our success? How can we continue to invest in those areas? That's really analyzing and interpreting information. When you really start to see the value up is getting into those insights, looking at what's trending and discovering hidden patterns. So really looking at what's likely to happen. When you can bring this to your partners and talk about those areas that they should focus on. So, what's predictive, where some buyers are going to be more likely to buy, that's really getting valuable to your partners. And then the last thing is, based on all of this, what we're trying to get to are what are those actions? So leveraging those insights to turn data into effective actions, really answering what should we do? Where should we invest? And some of the channel data pain points is, well, the channel provides scale and growth. Strategies for selling through partners often distances the supplier from the buyer. So channel organizations also often rely on sales out reporting to collect partner sell-through customer information to help them fill the gap. They also look at channel marketing ROI and program data. Unfortunately, it's often late. It's sometimes incorrect or in an unusable format. And suppliers wind up with kind of this incomplete view of where their investments and programs are going and who got them there. So for instance, let's look at point of sale data, right? It's often a month and a half late after the sale. So the velocity and the frequency and the speed of which you're getting the data. Let's look at the various siloed sources of data. I mean, I'll talk about where is it, how do we access it? Is it in our PRM? Is it in our SFA or CRM? Is it in our channel marketing and management platform or through partner marketing management automation? Is it in our marketing automation platform or MAP? Is it in our channel data management platform? Is it in our channel incentive management platform, et cetera, et cetera? Or does it sit in spreadsheets or exist in our partner systems and their business systems? So the whole host of siloed sources is one of the critical pain points. Then let's look at the accuracy, the quality of the different info. We're getting different info from different systems, from spreadsheets to platforms. We're getting it from different teams, from different businesses. There's no closed-loop reporting, and there's no one single source of truth. And lastly, the volume. This could be too much data or too little data. It's often not the right data. So how are we solving for these challenges, and what are the consequences of these challenges? Well, what we're seeing is that in organizations that drive through channel, that there's some key consequences. There's a lack of or inaccurate understanding of customer pain points and deliverables. We're actually seeing that focused investment is on the wrong partners. We're seeing that inability to measure return on channel investment. We're seeing unmonitored incentive program process, so this is going to be critical. Then we're seeing the inability to measure true lead performance and the progression in which partners are performing in which way. We're also seeing the ineffective partner management. If we don't know where our partners are contributing, we're missing sales opportunities. We're missing those investments on those right set of partners. The other thing that we're missing is the ability to course correct and engage those partners that may have fallen off the radar, but if given a little attention, a little programmatic support, could start to contribute to the business in a much more productive and effective way. So imagine if your organization was data informed. This is the nirvana. What's it like to truly delivering on the promise of data-informed decision-making? That requires moving to really a data-centric and data-first development approach. So think about your C-level executives. They can validate partner contribution and profitability. No longer are we trying to evangelize the value that channel brings to the organization. We can assign and allocate budget and resources accordingly. We can understand how our partners and our channel are reaching our clients and our customers. From a channel leader perspective, we can create that sustainable, repeatable, effective channel strategy. We can focus on the right types of partners and segment those partners within those partner types and really identify and optimize our investments to drive even more profitable growth. We can direct our channel account managers and our channel reps to say, here's your time and where it's going to be spent on doing the right activities with the right partners that is going to yield the best growth. We can do more efficient planning and business reviews and monitor the health of not only our partner relationships, but those partner pipelines. And channel marketing can finally identify and replicate the right programs, invest in those areas that are making sense, allocate the right funds to the right partners that are going to get the right return or the most return on those programs. And we can ensure that leads are routed to the best partners at the right situation. So here, channel marketing is able to not only identify and articulate the return on investment, but put it into action and identify those areas that properly resourced are going to have a higher impact and yield a stronger return. So what are some of the common traits then? We've got an organization that's data informed. What are some of the common traits of a robust data strategy? Well, they all start with a pilot. We absolutely advocate capture learnings and articulate early wins, identify where there may be holes and gaps, but identify that in something you can put your arms around. Promote and publicize the results with an impact, focusing specifically on the emphasis of the impact of the business process. This is what this data told us, this is the insights that it gave us, and the actions that we took. Make it a sense of urgency. Being data-driven is not slow and talking about that there are siloed areas of where we can't get information. No, it's a sense of urgency and drive with a sense of leadership and success and ongoing maintenance. You want to make sure that the learnings that you take through your pilot and your early wins are put back into your program. And then make a commitment to this. Again, I started this by saying this is not a one and done opportunity. This is an area where we want to make sure that the data strategy fits into the program performance this year and next. This is going to really help organizations identify those programs that they should be resourcing, those partners that they should be investing in, and really help articulate the value of channel and the channel initiatives back into the organization. It's really about identifying those core areas that we should continue to invest in. And everybody has a role, and there are critical roles that are required for success. For an organization to be data-driven, it has to enable its data consumers to absorb and use the insight that we generate. So the entire team must embrace a data-driven mindset, and the data consumers must be armed with the skills needed to assess the data, draw inferences from it, and really apply what they learn. So channel marketing can assess those processes that require data and determine what's most important. And they can leverage that data to really, again, apply it for opportunities to grow their partnerships, improve pipeline performance, and develop the right program. Channel sales, this is where you're going to enlist the senior leadership's commitment to really being data-driven. Sales sits on an enormous amount of data, and they need to access it, analyze it, interpret it, and then turn it back around and really provide it to those channel account managers and channel reps to apply it to their businesses. And operations, we say channel operations, this could be a combination of marketing operations and sales operations. But it's really looking at those colleagues to focus their efforts on measuring and reporting critical programmatic elements and champion investments in platforms and tools and processes that are going to support the channel data roadmap. We need to make sure that we get information in a timely, accurate fashion. And so we've got to make sure that we invest in the right platforms and processes to do so. And we can do that by teaming up with channel marketing and channel sales to understand the business requirements, what are the growth strategies and the growth goals, and really looking at where we need to invest as an organization and then down into these individual roles. So it's really about becoming a team in this data-driven approach that's going to take us from data challenged to data empowered. Laz, do you want to take us through some ways that you're helping organizations?
Absolutely. First and foremost, and on behalf of the audience, right, I just want to thank you for, your passion in communicating the current state of channel data and, all those challenges that the company SiriusDecisions is working with, and really just defining, right, because there's so much to look at here, what really matters with respect to channel data and how do we take it to that next level, like you said, Maria, to become more prescriptive and talk about what you should be doing based on what the data is telling you. So all of this is really setting the stage for us to really begin to ask the question, which is, how do we operationalize a channel data strategy like we just saw and take it to that next level? So I'm going to talk to you, and I'm talking to you on behalf of Zift Solutions. And, we're a vendor of channel software that really facilitates all the management, all the demand creation, all the things you need to do with that partner. And really, our vision here is to deliver that fully integrated solution and expertise to drive channel success. But if we go back to what Maria was saying, we noticed that, there is an issue. And the issue is that data is kept in different silos. Whether you're using partner relationship management, whether you're using marketing, whether you're using incentives, most organizations keep the data in different silos. So it's really hard to apply some of those cross-functional learnings that Maria talked about. So, and this would lead to lack of adoption and so on. So I've talked to you about our vision having an integrated solution, but you know, we see it not just from a platform perspective, but from everything that a channel program is trying to do, from assessing their capabilities to recruiting partners, to helping them plan to reach goals and objectives, to enabling them successfully, for example, during an onboarding process, then generating demand and transacting with them, and later, you know, managing those relationships so that you could do things like renewals and so on. We're going to focus specifically on Transact. And I'm going to talk to you about what's possible with channel data, especially in this area where you're looking at transactions and you're trying to get some learnings from them. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the different forms of channel data that are out there, right? If you think about it, traditionally, Maria pointed out, what are some of those really important metrics? What kind of decision making can we do? And the next step would be predictive, right? How can we be a little bit more predictive? And those things are, you know, helping companies identify the metrics, both leading and lagging, that Maria pointed to, that they're helping companies create dashboards and spot trends. And in terms of predictive, I'd say it's that combination, Maria, the right partner, the right customer, and the right offer, and trying to see what that combination is. So a lot of people are doing this. I'd say most people are trying to do the first two. So when I talk to channel leaders, they're saying, you know, we do have dashboards. We are tracking certain metrics, even though they may be, you know, rudimentary to start with. And then some are actually doing the predictive modeling. There's been a lot of tools out there that distributors have been using, for example, to help suppliers be more predictive in who to target. But now there's a new landscape. There's a new horizon for us, and it has to do with machine learning. And I'm going to spend a lot of my time here talking about machine learning and trying to define it and talk about some of the things you need to do to get to where Maria was talking about. So by doing so, I just want to differentiate it from what you've seen just now, right? Metrics, data-driven decision-making, and predictive modeling, they're a little different than what we're talking about with machine learning, because what machine learning will do in terms of metrics is offer those cross-functional metrics that can show relationships between data points. So for example, what impact is training having on pipeline? Decision-making would be which campaigns are most effective and which partners should I target next? And then if you really want to get down to the bare minimums, which is opportunities in the channel, is, you know, which opportunities will close if we executed a series of activities against them? You see, watching what's going on and deciding what those critical short paths are is where machine learning can really help us. So where does this intersect with channel programs? I picked three areas. The first one I'd say is onboarding. You know, really determining the most effective onboarding path and taking specific steps to impart on partners that knowledge that they need to then reach success. So I think that that's a good place for machine learning to live. Also on marketing effectiveness. I'm sure Maria will agree with me, marketing effectiveness, knowing which campaigns have the highest impact on pipeline opportunities. That's like the holy grail of channel marketing. And then partner planning, learning what's working with some partners and applying that with other partners in the process. So where do we get our smarts on this? Where are we learning our lessons in terms of working with different suppliers? Well, at Zift, many of our engagements start with an assessment. And so this is run by our services team, and they work with the different suppliers, and they assess their capabilities. And we use a channel assessment that really, Maria, be proud to know, it's modeled on the SiriusDecisions program model, because we feel that that covers most of everything that you need to do in a channel program. So this is kind of a report card, and using this, we see what is done, and we deliver an executive summary back to our customers. But that being said, we can really zero in. And what are we learning? We're learning, for example, that in the area of advanced reporting, which is where this machine learning lives, Maria's 100% right. Suppliers are mixing both leading and lagging metrics indiscriminately, right? They're focused on those static finish line results. And really, most reporting is on partner activity and engagement. And, you know, many companies still struggle to get that closed loop reporting. And as we saw with those data stacks being divided, it's really hard to get this done the right way. So what I suggest is that we look at where these areas of pain are, and we can prove it through this assessment, right? So when we get to a customer, we literally go in there and say, how are you using scorecards? What are your capabilities? What are your goals? And they'll come back and say, hey, we really have trouble here and we need to zero in. And it just validates what we're learning, that, you know, scorecards are just beginning to be used. Also, a closed loop reporting, huge gaps between current capabilities and what suppliers are doing. And then marketing metrics. You know, what we hear from suppliers is that there's little or no reporting in place. So marketing, it's very difficult for them to gauge their contribution. So given that this is the state, where are the real opportunities? And I think this is where you operationalize this, is by being really practical about it. So let's take a look at some partner opportunities and think about where they would work. And I hope to give you some examples that will show you where machine learning can make a difference. And I'll focus my example on opportunities. And let's just think about what reps are doing out there. You know, Maria mentioned, you know, we have to get down to the partner sales rep and understand what they're doing. Well, when it comes to opportunities, they do three things, right? They go after deals that they know will close. They rarely go into deals that they know less about. And some of them even spend times on deals that will never close because they just take longer. So if you're a channel sales rep and you're out there and you're trying to understand which opportunities to focus on in your pipeline, I think machine learning can really help you by first taking a look at, well, here are the deals that you know will close. So these you don't have to do too much to get them closed. And then there's these other deals down here that you really shouldn't be spending any time with, right? And those deals are going to be specific to basically deals that are not going to close. They might take too much time, right? And then these deals here, you can see these deals, they've got proximity in terms of time frame. They also have nearness of closing, so they're 75%. So what if we just focus on these guys? And if we focus on these guys, we can then look at the historical data and say, what was the marketing journey that generated those opportunities? Maybe they started with inbound tactics and website content. And from there, really nothing has taken place. But we could see similar opportunities in the past that, for example, if they included an outbound tactic, like sending out an email campaign or a digital ad, they could increase the probability from 5 to 7%. Or if they followed up with collateral and outreach, they could even increase it even more, 10 to 15%. And that could actually generate the marketing qualified lead, which they're looking for. So now our partner sales rep is out there thinking about what deals to focus on, and he's not taking any guesses. In fact, what he's getting is automated reports from the system that are telling him, hey, look, I've spotted these deals over here that I want to send you that you should really focus on right away. You see, that's the power of machine learning, to be able to be prescriptive using really artificial intelligence. Now, getting started with all of this requires some know-how, okay? And I've kind of laid out some of the prerequisites for success and the greatest areas of impact. Let's go there first. The greatest areas of impact for you are going to be in campaign effectiveness. You can say goodbye to spray and pray, because you'll know which campaigns are going to drive the highest level of success. It'll also help you with engaged partners and top line revenue, because by focusing on opportunities, you've got your sights set on what matters most. Now, that being said, the first thing you're going to have to be good at is gathering KPIs and leading metrics. Again, these are not the finish line results, but things like how many partners are completing training, how many of them have fully registered pages, how many of them have taken on their first marketing activity. Then you're going to want to graduate these and offer achievements so you can keep track. So for example, you might want to say partners that ran their second campaign and built X amount of pipeline. So you're going to want to be able to group these and create achievements, and that's where those groups come in. So the underlying platform not only has to provide you some of the connectivity, but you need to have this ability to then group the data and group the partners. And then you also have to have some integration across those silos. whether it be your channel marketing and your PRM systems. Again, our focus would be to have an integrated solution here, but if you're dealing with disparate systems, this might be a challenge. Now, because of that, the scope of effort on the right bottom, you'll see is medium. That means this isn't easy, but it's worth the effort. The low adoption also means that we have an opportunity here to really excel. So one last thing I'll add is that using concierge services or even using that type of assessment process like I shared with you really can make the difference in terms of really understanding the right data and the right reports that you'll need. Now, you've learned a lot, and it's a lot of information, and you learn the best practices, the current state, the challenges, and I think we've given you some insights into where to start and what to be ready for in terms of readiness. I just want you to think about the following. First of all, is break those data silos. Nothing's going to happen until you're able to look across your program, and that means to look across your platform. Second, start small. Maria mentioned pilots. I would say a scorecarding effort that you would pilot across the organization to look at impact and result would be a great place to start. And then last, close the loop on data. In other words, don't stop by just giving some behavioral metrics. Really try to answer those questions about what you should be doing, what if type situations, and try to round it all together by creating data relationships. We really appreciate your undivided attention during this webcast. This is a pretty heady topic. Maria, if you wouldn't mind joining me on the line, I just want to thank you for joining us today and see if anybody has any questions out there that they would like to ask before we conclude.
While we're doing that, Laz, I will also add my thank you to the audience and to you, Laz and Zift. It's a pleasure, as always, talking about channel. And to your point, this is a really heady topic, and it's a topic that organizations need to start to think about. It's really a business imperative. Those organizations that are really developing that strong data strategy, to your point, are going to have much more clear and prescriptive guidance on where to invest, and are going to start to see those results and as they start to outperform their peers. So absolutely a critical discussion for today's channel.
Cool. Julie, do we have any questions, or are the folks taking it all in?
At this point,
looks like they're taking it all in.
Yeah, I think they have taken it all in and going back to their desk and processing everything. So we're going to give everybody the rest of their hour back. Thank you, Maria and Laz. We appreciate everyone's interest and participation today. To learn more, visit ziftsolutions.com or SiriusDecisions.com. This concludes today's presentation.